Jesse's workshop today. Little last minute Christmas shopping. Except I want to make the wife a little ornament for the Christmas tree. So I want to show you how to make an ornament out of an old scrap piece of lumber. This is old reclaimed piece of mahogany. It's an old deck. And come along and see how we're going to make this happen. First things first, we're going to sketch out a little heart here. You know, Christmas time, wife likes hearts in the tree. Thought I'd get her something. So we're going to draw out a nice little heart out of a piece of scrap mahogany. Once you're happy with the shape of the heart, we're going to take the jigsaw and rough cut out the shape we got. I'm going to clamp this piece of wood to the bench. Don't forget to put on your safety glasses. Our shape's a little rough, so now we're going to clean it up with the rasp. So as I file away with this wood with the rasp, I'm trying to go with the grain. If I pull it this way, it's going to start to split this apart more. I kind of want to just sand it together. This is a pretty aggressive rasp for what we're doing, but I'm trying to make it work. So I want to try to get a little bit more definition to this piece of wood and not make it look like a plank. So what I want to do is I want to remove the excess wood here and make the bottom of the heart come to a point from the side. I'll give it a little bit more depth. So I could either try to do that with the rasp a little bit. I'll probably start with the rasp and then jump on over to the belt sander to remove some of that material. So since this piece is so small, I'm just gonna remove as much material as I can with the belt sander. Just easier to work that way for me. So as I create this point here, I'm double checking to see if I'm maintaining some symmetry within the shape. I don't want to sand too much of one side too far and not have the other one come together at the same point. So I keep checking, and this side I might need to bring down just a little bit so that we can get our point in the center of our shape. So I keep working the shape to try to give it a little bit more definition, some more curve to it. I mean, we're working with a flat plane here, a flat board here, so we're trying to give it just a little bit more definition. This part of the heart, I want it to be a little bit more pronounced than the bottom. So I'm just doing my best to try to give it a little bit of curve. So I'm going to come in, I got a nice general purpose 4-in-1 rasp. It's going to work a little bit better than the original one I started with. I was a little too aggressive. You can pick this up at your local hardware store, or I can send the link below to Amazon to pick one of these up as well. Now that I'm happy with my basic shape of my heart, I'm going to go to the next step, just sanding. I'm going to start with 60 grit sandpaper and work our way up to probably 220 in this case. What we want to do with the sandpaper is, before we move on to each layer, this is still a rough shape here, so the sandpaper is going to smooth all this out. And any scratch marks from our rasps, we're going to take that out with the sandpaper before we move on to the next step. Some of these deeper cuts, seeing that this was an old reclaimed piece of wood, it has imperfections. Some of this I'm not going to be able to get out. I kind of like that bleached kind of color to the mahogany, whereas this side's a little bit different. A little tip I like to do with the sandpaper is fold this into thirds. You get more out of it, just easier to work with too. So I can hang this on the tree, I need a hole so we can tie a string through it. So I'm going to drill this before I go any further with this. Easy as that. So now that I got most of my scratch marks out from all the tools, we're going to step it up to our next grit. Just about done with our 80 grit, and now we're going to jump up to 150. All right. Finally, time to start oil, and favorite oil, Danish oil. No stain to it. Soaks in and penetrates into the wood, unlike polyurethane that just sits on top of the wood. It really gives it a nice shine. It's not super glossy. It really brings out that figure, that beauty in that wood. Not bad. I think the wife's gonna like it on the tree, and that will make her shine. Brush off any little dust. Let that soak in her little old t-shirt. We just wipe it off. So this being a reclaimed piece of lumber, this side, you know, I had a lot of little checks and wear marks in it. I kind of like those. It kind of gives it a little character. Just gonna pop another glove on. The oil, I mean, not the end of the world if you get it on your hands. It's just kind of a pain to get it off. And that's going to be our first initial coat. The Danish oil. Go ahead and let that dry up. I'm going to put another coat on there tomorrow. I think the wife's going to like that. What's really important about the Danish oil, you don't want to leave these rags around the shop. They've been known to spontaneously combust. So either soak them in water and throw them in a closed jar to keep them from doing that. That includes the next episode of Jesse's Workshop. Always remember, please like and subscribe so I can see you guys in the next one.